It was just before dawn, June 17th, 1939.
A specific moment in time.
Yeah. And imagine Versailles. Usually you think of sunlight, gardens. But this is pre-dawn gloom. And something's wrong.
Different feel altogether.
Totally. There's this restless crowd, huge crowd, just pressed up against the walls of this unmarked prison building.
Unmarked, that's key. And no official announcement.
None at all. No town crier, nothing. But somehow, everyone there knows. They know why they've come.
That shared, unspoken understanding. It's quite chilling, isn't it? Like this dark wave just washed over the city.
Exactly. It wasn't some scheduled event. They were just drawn there.
It really speaks to a kind of powerful collective anticipation. Everyone holding their breath almost.
And picture the mix of people. It was odd.
Right.
You've got city workers, rough clothes, standing nearly, well-dressed women.
A real cross-section.
Definitely. Journalists, too, notebooks out, trying to look professional. But you could see something else there. Teenagers, trying to act cool, bored, but their eyes are just darting towards the prison.
Nervous energy.
Loads of it. Some people were laughing, but it sounded brittle, forced. Others were sipping from flasks,
Trying to steady the nerves, maybe? Or fuel something else?
Could be. And many were just staring at the building, waiting. There was this rumor, this whisper, that it had to happen before sunrise.
So that adds to the whole clandestine, almost illicit feel of it. This sense it belongs to the shadows, even with all these witnesses.
Right. Then these huge iron gates just groan open. That sound, you could almost feel it go through the crowd.
Silence, I bet.
Dead silent for a second. And out come these men. Black uniforms, really stark against the stone.
Official looking? Or something else?
Hard to say, but efficient. Military precision, almost. They're carrying wood, ropes, tools, metal glinting a bit.
And the crowd's just watching them.
Completely fixed on them. These guys start assembling something right there. No words. Just methodical construction. Grim.
The silence of the workers is, it's unsettling. Like they're just cogs in this machine enacting a ritual.
A ritual, yeah. And it doesn't take long for everyone to see what it is.
The structure takes shape?
Tall. Ominous. No mistaking it. It's a guillotine.
And the crowd's reaction.
Like a collective gasp. A sudden intake of breath just hanging there.
You could probably hear a pin drop.
For a moment, yeah. Then, just as silently, the men in black place this big wicker basket right at the base. Directly under the blade.
Ugh, the basket. That detail is... Yeah. So mundane, but its purpose.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Totally. Then the workers just pack up, turn their backs, and vanish back into the prison, leaving the crowd alone with it.
The anticipation must have been dialed up to 11 then. Almost unbearable.
It shifted, though, that quiet tension. It didn't last. It morphed into something darker, uglier.
How so?
The nervous laughter was gone. Instead, you start hearing shouts, cheers even, chants, people cursing at the prison walls.
Wow. So it turned from waiting into demanding.
Yeah, like a kind of drunk excitement, one witness called it. It felt volatile.
That's the scary thing about crowds, isn't it? Anonymity strips away restraint. Primal stuff comes out. Aggression towards the unseen prisoner.
But the prison doors stayed shut. For ages, it felt like.
Yeah.
5 minutes, 10, nearly an hour goes by.
An hour? The sun must have been starting to come up by then.
Exactly. The sky's getting lighter in the east. Dawn is breaking over Versailles. And then 4:45 a.m., chaos.
What happened?
The press arrived. A whole swarm of them.
Yeah.
Reporters, photographers, cameras, shouting questions, pushing.
So much for a quiet pre-dawn affair.
Yeah, any official control just evaporated. This was now a full-blown public spectacle. Global news.
The authorities lost control of the narrative completely. Now the whole world was watching.
And then, 5 minutes later, 4:50 a.m., the prison doors burst open again.
This was it.
This was it. 2 guards dragging a man out between them. Eugene Weidman.
The serial killer. The reason for the crowd.
The very same. Only 31. His white shirt was pulled down, neck exposed. He wasn't looking up, just down.
Dragged out, completely powerless, presented to the crowd.
They hauled him right to the people, and the crowd just erupted.
Anger.
Outrage.
No, that's the chilling part. It was joy. Pure, terrifying joy. Screams, whistles, cheers, even laughter. A horrible wave of sound.
Oh my God. Joy at an execution.
It was intense. One woman actually fainted. Another one was, lunging forward, trying to get a closer look.
That's deeply disturbing. The pull of the spectacle, blurring the lines.
But Weidman, silent, didn't resist, kept his eyes on the ground, like he'd just shut down.
Maybe resigned, or denying them the satisfaction of seeing his fear.
Maybe. They got him to the guillotine. The executioners took over. Fast, practiced movements. Force him down, face
The
first.
final moments.
Neck clamped in the wooden frame. Head positioned over a metal bucket they'd placed there. Under the blade.
Clinical. Mechanical.
Then, silence again. The whole roaring crowd just went dead quiet. Heavy silence.
Waiting for it.
And then... clang!
That unmistakable sound.
Ugh.
Echoed right across the square.
Yeah.
And the crowd. They just roared like a goal had been scored.
Like it was a sporting event. That says everything, doesn't it? The detachment, the thrill-seeking.
Blood everywhere on the wood. The head fell into the bucket. The body slumped into that wicker basket.
This remains.
The guards collected it all. Faces blank, like they were just cleaning up. Carried it back inside the prison.
Dehumanized right to the very end. By the state, by the crowd.
But the crowd didn't disperse.
Oh, no.
They surged forward.
What for?
Towards the guillotine. People were pushing rags, handkerchiefs, scarves into the blood, pooling on the cobblestones.
Yeah, it was so serious.
Soaking it up like it was some kind of souvenir.
Yeah.
A relic.
That's beyond morbid. That's primal, needing a physical piece of the violence.
And the photos taken that day.
Yeah.
They went everywhere. But it wasn't Weidman's face that caused the outrage.
How's the crowd?
Exactly. Their faces, twisted with excitement, satisfaction, just pure bloodlust on display. France was horrified, humiliated.
Understandably.
They banned public executions just days later.
Yeah.
Because of the crowd's behavior, not the execution itself.
The photos forced to look in the mirror, didn't they? Confronting that capacity for brutality, that desire to watch.
Yeah. Here's one last thing, just to really let it sink in.
Okay.
There's this chilling idea that consciousness, it might linger for maybe 10, 15 seconds after decapitation.
You mean aware?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Aware of what just happened. There are these old stories, probably apocryphal, but still. Executioners claiming they called a name, saw eyes blink, maybe lips move, before everything stops.
Okay, that is profoundly unsettling. Just wow.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What this whole event says about us. About fascination with death, with spectacle.
It's deeply troubling. That eagerness, the joy, it exposes something dark, doesn't it? The lack of empathy when violence becomes entertainment. Those were warnings. Missed warnings, maybe?
So a question for you listening. What does this say about our fascination with death and spectacle? It seems pretty enduring.
And how does being part of a crowd, even just looking at photos of historical crowd like this, allow us to detach, to lose empathy?
Yeah, and here's the big one, maybe. Banning public executions. Did that really change the underlying impulses we saw that day? Or did they just go underground?
It really forces you to confront some uncomfortable truths about human nature, doesn't it? Justice, revenge, spectacle, mortality. It's all tangled up. Banning the public forum just hides something that's still there. Dormant, perhaps.
Definitely something to think about. If this story haunted you, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube.